Cowboys Nation. I hope you're sitting down for this one, because the Dallas Cowboys just made two major roster moves that could completely shift the momentum of this season. And I'm not exaggerating. These moves hit two different positions. They bring speed, star power, hope, and honestly, they might be exactly what we needed to stay alive in this playoff race. And listen, now if you love this team as much as I do, smash that like button right now and subscribe to the channel Dallas Cowboys Today. We're pushing hard to hit 13,000 subscribers, and you can help us get there. Let's keep Cowboys Nation growing. Now, let's talk about these bombshell roster moves that could ignite the Cowboys at the perfect moment.
Back to the NFL, some Sundays.
Except if they overtake the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's probably their best path.
I think so. And take a look at the schedule here, Greeny.
Yep.
You tell me if you see a path here. They're one game back in the loss column.
Yep.
Take a look at the schedule. And here's the bigger thing. Forget about who they're playing. Think about the way the Dallas Cowboys are playing today. And think about the way the Philadelphia Eagles are playing today. That is the bigger question. And right now, this Justin Herbert hand injury looms incredibly significant for a week from tonight when they play the Philadelphia Eagles as the Chargers still try to catch the Denver Broncos. Justin Herbert said yesterday he's treating the injury, which we'll have surgery on today, as if he's playing next Monday night. If he plays, that's a different Charger team. And if he plays, they're going to have a chance to beat the Eagles. And if they beat the Eagles and the Cowboys win against a depleted Detroit team on Thursday night, you might want to redo the numbers on those graphics. They're going to look a little bit different.
Dallas looks like the team right now no one wants to play in the playoffs, right?
Cannot play the Dallas offense in man-to-man because you don't have enough people to cover George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. And then defensively, the speed of their defense pops on tape.
Yeah, and I look at it this way. Look, I said the Dumsday defense, that's how they played. Right now, the last several weeks, since they made the trade, that their defense is like fourth or fifth in the league in defense.
We got one more game to finish up this weekend tonight. We got the Patriots and the Giants. It's an incredibly important game. Superlatives. Let's go through some of the best and the worst. Rex, let's start with the...
We made you wait long enough. Dak Prescott led the Cowboys to a win over the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. He had 2 touchdowns, 320 pass yards in the game, and it was impressive. But that Cowboys defense has significantly improved during their 3-game win streak. Dallas allowing just under 70 yards per game on the ground over its last 3 games, which lines up, of course, with the acquisition of Quinnen Williams from the Jets. And we got to start with you, Swag. I mean, it's interesting. When they made that trade to get Quinnen Williams, we're all like, could that be enough to really put him on a run here? What has changed over the recent weeks, especially with Quinnen Williams joining the fold?
Well, they got Quinnen, but they also got some guys back. Demario and Overshawn has been huge for this team. But I think more importantly, man, and Boogie, you've heard me say this a bunch, man. This is about interior pressure now. I know Myles Garrett is having out of his mind season, but we've seen now time and time again in this league, if you have somebody in the interior that can push the pocket, but also multiply everybody else around. The beautiful thing about playing against Kansas City was every sack came from a 4-man rush. And that is the impact of Quinnen Williams being a part of this team. You can see him here with the pressure, and now it's a chase down. That way you can commit more guys to coverage, which Dallas was their weakness. And now you add a guy that can be impactful on the interior. You either have to double team him. He's won multiple one-on-ones. He's grading out as one of the highest defensive tackles in the NFL. He makes that much of a difference. They let Micah Parsons go, and they brought in Quinnen Williams, and they found another guy that can impact the rest of the guys on the defensive line, similarly to what Micah Parsons was able to do.
I think it's a special season. I really do. And I think what they went through over that bye week with the loss of Nealand and how they've galvanized is real.
Yeah.
I also think we're getting contributions and plays that maybe we weren't getting in recent weeks and recent seasons. Last week, you were sitting in that chair, Swagoo. You said the play of the day for them was this season-saving play by Elijah Clark on the punt return. Watch Clark. Gets banged around 3 times, 4 times, doesn't stop. And who causes the fumble? Elijah Clark. Yep. Sure enough, they're in a 1-score game here. George Pickens fumbles the ball on Thanksgiving. Kavontae Turpin is Johnny on the spot and maybe saves the season by recovering the fumble. I texted a Cowboys source after this game. I said, CD, Dak, amazing. Their response was, the Turpin play. Make sure you highlight the Turpin play. It's those little things that are different, and they're happening on a week-to-week basis. Hey, guess what? Thursday, they play the Lions. I would expect more of that.
Yeah, what a coaching job by Brian Schottenheimer.
That's the key.
It just probably doesn't even, as much as we've said it, I don't even know if we could give him enough credit for what he's been doing.
During Brock Purdy's absence, hopefully we still talk about what Davis Mills did in absence of C.J. Stroud.
Massive.
3-0 without C.J. Stroud. Davis Mills coming in with that defense to help along with that win streak. Let's get to the Cowboys, which last time I heard, they had beaten the Super Bowl representatives twice in 4 days. Don't know if anybody actually heard that. Unfortunately, it only still counts for 2 wins. 6-5-1 though, so the odds are stacked against the Cowboys dudes. But are you buying the momentum that they're doing right now, in or out on the Cowboys?
Me and Mackenzie have been higher on the Cowboys than a lot of people. I'm even higher on them than the sports line model. And when you look at it, I remember, Kenz, when we did this, I think 3 weeks ago, I said, if they win 2 out of these next 3, they'll get in. But to your point, it might take 11 wins in the NFC. The issue for the Cowboys are the people that they're chasing, they continue to win too. That's the biggest issue. But if they win this game versus the Lions, the Cowboys are getting in. I'm going to say they're going to get in. Right now, the Lions are having issues on the offensive side of the ball. When you talk about the offensive line, they've been giving up a lot of points lately on the defensive side. They've been dealing with injuries in the secondary. I think the Cowboys, with their balance of the offense, we know it's one of the most potent offenses in football. The defense is starting to come together, right? Quentin Williams and that defensive front starting to finally get after the quarterback. Those linebackers, DeMarion Overshown, he is one of the most athletic linebackers in football, and he's a guy that can match up with backs and tight ends out of the backfield. I think the Cowboys get in. Now, they play a game at the Lions, which essentially could be a winner get in, loser get out. I think the Cowboys go ahead and take care of business. And again, I don't know if there's a tougher 3-game stretch that they've played than anybody has in the NFL, but the way that their trajectory is showing right now and how they've played, I have the Cowboys getting in.
I hate to bet on teams that are in win to stay alive territory, right? That's a really tough place to be. We're pretty much in line with the odds makers here, around a 25% chance to make the playoff, as in a 25% chance to win out here. Now that moves to 41% chance if you win this game, drops to 9% chance if you lose, essentially calling it playoff elimination. This is a team with a lot of wins, a lot of empty wins. A lot of these wins on their resume don't really mean much. 2 claps for beating Kansas City, but that's not even a conference game. I'd say Philly is really the only one that head-to-heads down the road could help them, but you're beating the Giants and you're beating the Jets, and there's only so many wins that are really helping them. There's still plus 650 to win the division. The Eagles are still minus 900. So as you mentioned, it's that wild card dance. What I will say about this team, glass half full, is having that tie, being 11-5-1 instead of being 11-6. The way the parity of this conference has been, that could be very big for them down the stretch. And who would ever thought a tie is, I mean, it is better than a loss, but who thought it would mean anything?
To that point, Kenz, that Arizona game is probably going to keep them up at night, because that's a game at home they probably should have won. And then even if you go to the Chicago Bears game, that game they probably had a chance to win and they didn't. And those are 2 divisional games on the NFC side, which would have helped them in their cause. But I just think the way that they're playing right now, they're probably one of the hottest teams in the NFL. I could see them winning out and getting in.
Defense much improved, especially at the deadline. The question then becomes, was it a little bit too little, too late? So here's a look. Speaking of that game, of course, Cowboys and Lions, which is important. Playoff chances by Week 14 result. Again, with a win and with a loss. We now can segue to Detroit, which was the top seed last year, decimated by injuries, were the darlings, and all of a sudden finding themselves in the hunt right now, trying to fight for.
While the NFL was busy with the Sunday slate, the Cowboys were not resting. Nope. Dallas was grinding, practicing, reorganizing, and making aggressive roster decisions ahead of Thursday Night Football versus the Detroit Lions. This is one of the biggest games of our season, and the front office clearly knows it, and that's exactly why they made 2 important moves. Activated a potential defensive game changer, added a speed weapon to the backfield. Let's break each one down. Cowboys Nation, this is huge. Dallas officially designated Trevon Diggs for return to practice. Now, does this guarantee he'll play against Detroit? No, but this means he's officially in the 21-day window and could return very soon depending on how he responds in practice. Even just having him on the field, running, warming up, that's a psychological lift. And let's be honest, a secondary with Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland instantly becomes one of the most dangerous in the NFL. Bland already has 6 interceptions this season. Diggs is a former All-Pro, and combined, they have the ability to flip games with pure ball hawk instincts. If this Cowboys team wants to stay alive with just a 23% chance of making the playoffs, per The Athletic, getting Diggs back changes the math completely. Now let's talk about the new weapon, and I'm telling you, this kid can fly. Dallas has officially signed running back Israel Abanikanda to the roster. This is not some random depth guy. Cowboys fans, this dude has real juice. College dominance at Pitt in 2022, won 431 rushing yards, 20 rushing touchdowns, 239 carries, plus 146 receiving yards. Those numbers are insane. 20 touchdowns in one season? That's elite. And he wasn't just productive, he was explosive. Speed. Like you wouldn't believe, Abanikanda ran a sub 4.4 40-yard dash at Pitt's pro day. We're talking legit sprinter speed, the type of home run ability this offense is missing behind Javonte Williams. NFL scouts even compared him to Isaiah Pacheco coming out of the draft. And if there's one thing the Cowboys need right now, it's a guy who can turn a simple zone run into a 60-yard burst. And that's exactly what Abanikanda has done throughout his football career. The Cowboys' current RB room has been solid. Javonte Williams has been a workhorse and keeps adding balance. Malik Davis has been giving this team a spark lately, but if you're trying to win out, which is realistically the only way into the playoffs, you need depth. You need guys with fresh legs. You need speed, and Abanikanda has all of that in abundance. Detroit is a physical team. They blitz, they hit hard, they force turnovers. If Dallas is going to survive on Thursday, they'll need every weapon they can get, and adding an explosive running back while getting hopeful news about Trevin Diggs. That's how you send a message to Cowboys Nation and to the entire league. We're not dead, not even close. Let's be real, Dallas has to win out to stay alive. Beating Detroit on the road would be a massive statement. The Lions are 3-point favorites, but they're coming off a Thanksgiving loss to Green Bay. They're beatable, they're vulnerable, and the Cowboys were trending up after beating the Eagles and beating the Chiefs in back-to-back weeks. Momentum is real, hope is real, and these roster moves feel like Jerry Jones saying, "We're all in," again. Cowboys Nation, what do you think? Do these roster moves get you fired up? Do you think Abanikanda can carve out a real role? Are we about to witness Trevin Diggs return at the perfect time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everything you guys post. Before you click away, hit that like button, subscribe to Dallas Cowboys today. Help us crush the goal of 13,000 subscribers. We're so close. This is Victor, and as always, go Cowboys, let's shock the world.